In that commercial break, I was on the phone to Ben Hunt's manager. He said it all happened in the last 48 hours, confirmed this morning. Both parties shook hands, walked away, called it a draw. They're happy. Ben Hunt's camp happy, the Dragons happy. Now they can move on and get on with the business of playing rugby league and also then administering a rugby league team. So what now for Ben Hunt? Is he looking to come home? Is he open to all offers, including Super League? Yes, yes, and yes. The only thing he won't entertain is a switch to rugby. Tongue-in-cheek there from his manager, but open to all offers. Yes, ideally coming home, but could stay in Sydney, could even find himself in England. He's got a week off from the Kangaroos camp, timely, and then, again, timing is everything with this when it comes to November 1. So phone calls will be made in earnest, but negotiation, actually, well, they don't have to wait till November 1. No, they can get into work straight away. One man who November 1 has just become a brand new priority is on the line now. He can shed a little bit more light on this. It's our very own Scott Sattler, a newly minted player agent. Sats, good morning to you.
Hey, Benny, how are you?
Well, just trying to take a breath after this breaking news. Look, Ben Hunt and the Dragons, we shouldn't be surprised. There's been so much, I'm not even going to say smoke, so much fire around this, and now it's official.
Well, it was always going to happen. We know that before the first day of training goes back. And Benny wouldn't have been expected back at training until probably the new year with the 10 weeks that they've got to have off after their last game. So he still had a fair bit of time under his belt. But in saying that, this has been developing for quite a while. It's been simmering underneath. It's quite obvious that both he and Shane Flanagan don't see eye to eye. He had a strong relationship with Hook, Anthony Griffin. But in saying that, as a player, you just got to move on. You know, we all go through that in our careers with coaches that you've got a great alignment with. But if there's a change for whatever reason, you've just got to be able to move on. That's what being a professional is all about. But it was quite obvious that for whatever reason, they didn't really see eye to eye, the way the game is played, the way their approaches to the game, communication levels as well. So this was always simmering. It was always going to happen. It was just a matter of when. So no surprise at all. But they're probably one of the most nauseating questions we've been asking each other for the last 2 to 3 months is probably longer than that. The last 12 months is where will he end up? So again, that'll dominate the headlines for the next week or so.
All right, well, Sats, let's dig into that. Is he the hottest property on the market right now? When we look at November 1 and those who can negotiate, Ryan Pappenhausen, Dylan Brown, Brandon Smith, Selwyn Cobbo, Katoni Staggs, is Ben Hunt, well, he's actually up for grabs right now, so he'd have to be the hottest property in rugby league, yeah?
Well, it depends where your salary cap looks like, Betty. You look at the two scenarios. Do we need to scale back and get our salary cap in alignment, like i.e. the Knights? Or are we in a position to just build on our squad and be consistent of what we've been doing? And then you have to look at what's the average age of our squad. Are we an ageing team in key positions? And then probably one of the next scenarios you need to look at as a club is, do we need instant success? And what does that look like? For the Gold Coast Titans, for example, that would be just to make the finals. The way they've been going the last few years? Or do we just keep sort of adding to our consistent program, i.e. the Panthers? We've got this great program. Do we just need to polish up a little bit and throw someone in there? But with Benny Hunt, if you all went through to November 1, well, he would be at the moment because he's allowed to talk to anyone. But if we all went through to November 1 in that scenario, I still think Ryan Pappenhausen, if he's still available and Melbourne haven't been able to come to an agreement, which I don't think will happen, he would have to be the hottest player on the market, purely because of his age and purely because of Benny Hunt's age as well. So there's some clubs that would take a gamble on Benny and the age and sort of the instant success that he may bring to your club. Or some clubs would like to say, you know what, we've got some really good healthy juniors that are 21, 22. We've been putting a lot of work into. We can't put them back any further. We've got to trial them next year. So a couple of different scenarios for a few different clubs.
All right, I want to step through the possibility of him coming home to Queensland in just a moment. But to me, the club that probably, and again, I would love to get your take on this, the club that probably stands out, instant success, let's get a half, let's get, good halves going. Would that be the Bulldogs?
Bulldogs would be, yeah. And he's bought a beautiful farm at Bangalow, which is just over the border, of course, into New South Wales. And not saying he obviously wants to move there straight away and live there, but obviously that's where he wants to end up. And so if you can get closer to where you're eventually going to end up, and just be able to minimise all that confusion around transitioning post career, you will. And so I look at the Dolphins. And think that's a possibility. I've got Isaiah Katoa in the halves. Do they need an experienced half to actually continue guiding this very exciting young halfback in Katoa? The Bulldogs is an obvious choice as well. They just need that. They need that game breaker, that guy that has tasted some success at the highest level, like Origin, and played consistent finals in his career as well at times. So, an obvious. Then I look at the Roosters, who have got plenty of room in their salary cap.
Yeah.
They've lost Sam Walker for most of next year.
Yep.
Luke Keary's moved on.
Yep.
Joey Manu's moved on. So he could be a really good 2-year option at the Roosters as well.
Yeah, Roosters. Imagine Hunt and Walker in the halves. That would be fantastic for Queensland, wouldn't it? I mean, could that work? Those two playing in the 6 and 7 combination.
Yeah, absolutely they can. Again, you've got the direction and the control of Benny Hunt, who has the ability to play off the cuff as well, ad lib, and then you've got this Alfie Langer type style in Sam Walker, where you don't really want to coach too much, but you've just got to have that steady hand that's alongside him, when to pick up the tempo of the game, when to bring it back, and just to be able to talk to him on the run. So a person like Benny Hunt would be perfect for that scenario when Sam Walker comes back. But in the flip side of that, you've got young Sandon Smith, who needs as much guidance as anyone at the moment as well.
Like it. We're putting down the Roosters. All right, closer to home. A return to the Broncos. Yep. I can't see it happening. Can you see Ben Hunt coming back to the Broncos, especially when you've got an Adam Reynolds there already?
Yeah, again, you look at that. Have we got an ageing roster in key positions?
Yeah.
But the Broncos, as powerful they are, when you talk about we need instant success, well, they only played in the grand final 12 months ago. But with the Broncos, you expect to play finals every year. So, do they bite the bullet? I know that Michael Maguire and Ben Hunt would have a great working relationship because they're both obsessed by the game. I can't see it happening. For the Brisbane Broncos, when you look at November 1, I'd be looking at young Trindle for 2026. Braden Trindle is 25. He's played over 70 first-grade games now, can control the team, when the Dally M, Nico Hines isn't there, and probably proven that he's gone past Nico. So I think when you've got Adam Reynolds, who's coming to the end of his tenure, and November 1 comes around, Braden Trindle would be a great option for the Brisbane Broncos. But I'd find it difficult. I'd see him going to the Dolphins before I'd see him going to the Broncos.
Sean O'Sullivan, we know, is off contract at the end of next year. You've got young Katoa and Ben Hunt there possibly coming in. All right. Could they fit him under the salary cap? I reckon they...
Again.
Yeah.
Again, don't know. They've taken on Saifidi, who the Newcastle Knights will pay a portion of his contract. You've got Fini Fuiaki coming in, who I don't think would have been top money, but he would have been good money, the best money he's ever got. Tom Gilbert coming back, but he's already on their salary cap anyway. Tom Flegler's an interesting one. Yeah. They're going to have to keep an eye on that and what his future is going to look like and how that sits with the salary cap as well. So where they are money-wise, I know that when you start up a club, you've got to spend 97.5% of your salary cap anyway. You can't hold on to money because you can't roll it over into the following year. You've got to spend it somewhere. And I feel as though the Dolphins have done a really good job at evenly spreading their salary cap across their playing talent. So I think they may have, because you've got to understand, if there's a mutual agreement with termination, now he'll be given a payout as well. So if he was on, let's argument say $1 million next year, and he's had a mutual termination payout of, let's just say $300,000. Well, he's looking to find that extra $700,000 somewhere, and a club's going to be able to afford that.
All right, this is the ins and outs that we, again, as a player agent, Sats, like you now know this. So that whoever Ben Hunt goes to, they wouldn't have to pick up a tab of what he was supposed to be on with the Dragons, but from his management point of view, they'd be looking to make up what he was supposedly going to get. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and again, not without knowing what the financial agreement is.
Sure.
It may be just a clean walk away, and then you got to go and chase. If you're going to be expected to be earning 900 or $1 million next year, you got to go and chase and find somewhere else. This is where the player probably holds a little bit more power as well, to be able to say, well, if you want me out, and this is not going to be a mutual agreement, well, I need to be paid something. And so if I'm meant to be paid $1 million, let's call it 500 down the middle. And then Dragon say, you know what, no, we're not willing to do that. See you at training in the first week of January. So there is a lot of Dutch and Drakes going on, but they always find middle ground. And let's just say, for argument's sake, it is $300,000 of $1 million contract. Well, it makes it a little bit easier to then go and negotiate with other clubs who haven't got $1 million to spend, but they may have 500 or 600 to spend.
On a representative halfback, a bloke who's playing for Australia, for Queensland, yes, age may be against him, but he's still turning it on when he needs to. Hey, Sats, thanks for stepping us through it. I know we were going to talk about a million other things, but Ben Hunt dominating right now, and I'm sure he will be on Sports Day tonight. Appreciate it, mate. We'll catch up as this rolls on. 1355 0467 736 736. Can your team afford Ben Hunt? Would you like to see him play there? 35 years of age. Should that even come into consideration? We'll get to your text straight after this.